the Golden Owl Podcast.
Speak better, fly higher.
Welcome to the Golden Owl English Podcast. I am Daniel Torres, and today we have a really interesting topic for you.
And I am Maya Powell. Daniel, I have to say, today's topic is one that I actually care about a lot, like personally.
Really? Why is that?
Because I have seen so many people start a YouTube channel and just disappear. Friends, people online, everyone. They start with so much energy, and then 3 months later, nothing.
That is so true. And today we are going to talk about exactly that. Why does it happen? And more importantly, how do you fix it?
Yes, so let's start with the big question. Is YouTube even worth starting in 2025? Like, is it too late?
Okay, so I have a strong opinion on this. I do not think it is too late, but I think people go in with the wrong idea of what YouTube actually is.
What do you mean by that?
So a lot of people think YouTube is like a lottery. You upload a video, maybe it goes viral, and suddenly you're famous. But that is not how it works at all.
No, definitely not. I think YouTube is more like going to the gym. You do not see results after 1 week. You have to keep going.
Oh, I love that comparison. Actually, that's perfect, because if you go to the gym once and then look in the mirror and think, why do I not have abs yet? That's crazy, right?
Exactly, but that's literally what people do with YouTube. They upload 2 videos, get 20 views, and think it's not working.
And then they stop. And that brings us to the first big reason why channels fail. No consistency.
Yes, consistency is probably the #1 thing. Not the camera, not the editing, not even the topic, just showing up regularly.
Right. And I think people underestimate how important it is to have a schedule, even if it's just 1 video per month. 1 video per month every month is better than 5 videos in 1 week and then nothing for 2 months.
The algorithm loves consistency, but also your audience loves it too. If people know you upload every Friday, they start to expect it. They look for you.
Exactly. It builds a habit for them and for you. And speaking of habits, I think another big reason channels fail early is that people copy other channels too much. Like they see a big YouTuber doing something and they just do the exact same thing.
Oh yes, the copy problem. I see this all the time.
Like you see someone making reaction videos and getting millions of views, so you think, okay, I will make reaction videos too. But you don't have their audience, their editing style, their energy. So it just doesn't work.
And the thing is, your audience, the people who will actually subscribe to you, they want something real. They want you, not a version of someone else.
That's a really good point. I think finding your own voice is something that takes time, but it is so important.
It is, and it connects to another reason channels fail, which is picking the wrong topic, or as people say, the wrong niche.
Oh, the niche problem. Okay, so explain this for our listeners because not everyone knows what a niche is.
Sure. So a niche is basically your specific topic. Like you're not just a cooking channel, you're a channel about fast vegan meals for students. That's your niche.
So it's very specific.
Very specific. And a lot of people make the mistake of being too general. They want to talk about everything: travel, food, fitness, gaming, fashion, all in one channel.
And that confuses people. If I land on your channel and one video is about cooking and the next is about car reviews, I don't know what your channel is about, so I don't subscribe.
Exactly. You subscribe to a channel because you know what you're going to get. If it's all over the place, there's no reason to stay.
So the advice here is to pick one thing and go deep into it, even if you think the topic is too small.
Yes, small niches are actually really powerful at the beginning because there's less competition and the people who find you really care about that topic.
Okay, so we've talked about consistency, copying other people, and picking the right niche. Now let's move on to something that I think is really underrated: titles and thumbnails.
Oh, this is so important. I would even say that your title and your thumbnail are more important than the video itself, at least at the beginning.
Wait, more important than the actual video?
Well, think about it this way. If nobody clicks on your video, it doesn't matter how good it is. Nobody will ever see it. That is a really uncomfortable truth.
It is. YouTube is basically a big library of videos, and your title and thumbnail are like the cover of your book. People judge it before they even open it.
So what makes a good title?
Okay, so a good title does a few things. First, it makes people curious. Second, it tells them what they will get. And third, it uses words that people actually search for.
So, like, instead of saying my morning routine, you would say something like, I woke up at 5 a.m. every day for a month and this happened.
Yes, exactly. Because the second one makes you curious. You want to know what happened.
It creates a question in your head.
Right. And the thumbnail should do the same thing. A good thumbnail has a clear image, maybe a face with an expression, and a few words that match the title.
I have heard that faces on thumbnails get more clicks. Is that true?
Yes, studies have shown that. Human faces, especially with strong emotions, get more attention. Our brains are just wired to look at faces.
Interesting. So if you are making a video about learning a new skill, you could have a thumbnail with your face looking surprised or excited, and a few words like, I tried this for 30 days.
Perfect example. And the colors matter too. Bright colors, high contrast. Your thumbnail needs to stand out on a screen full of other thumbnails.
This is making me think about how much thought goes into this stuff. Like, it is almost like marketing.
It is exactly marketing. YouTube creators are also marketers. You are selling your video before anyone watches it.
Okay, so now let's talk about something that I think is really scary for a lot of creators, and that is the first 30 seconds of the video.
Oh yes, the hook. This is huge.
Because I have heard that most people decide in the first 30 seconds whether they're going to keep watching or not.
That is true, and YouTube actually shows you this in your analytics. You can see exactly when people stop watching. And for most videos, especially at the beginning, a lot of people leave very early.
So what should you do in those first 30 seconds?
So the number one mistake people make is starting with a long introduction, like, "Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about blah blah blah. Before we start, please like and subscribe."
Oh no, I have done that.
We've all done that. But the problem is, the viewer does not care yet. You have not given them a reason to care. You're asking them to subscribe before they have seen anything good.
So what should you do instead?
Start with the most interesting thing. Start with the problem. Start with a question. Start with something that makes the viewer think, okay, I need to keep watching to find out.
Like a TV show, they always start with something exciting before the opening credits.
Exactly like a TV show. You hook the viewer first, then you introduce yourself.
So instead of, hi, welcome to my channel, you would start with something like, last year I made every single YouTube mistake possible, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what they were.
Perfect. Now I want to keep watching because I want to know the mistakes.
It's like you're making a little promise at the beginning, and the rest of the video is you keeping that promise.
I love that, yes. And the other thing about the first 30 seconds is energy. If you start slow, quiet, and unsure of yourself, people will feel that. Energy is contagious.
Even on camera?
Especially on camera. The camera actually reduces your energy a little bit. So if you feel like you're being a bit too excited, on screen it probably looks just right.
That is such a good tip. I remember the first time I watched myself on video, I thought, why do I look so bored? I did not feel bored.
Yes, it's a very common experience. You have to push your energy up a little more than feels natural.
Okay, so to summarize what we've talked about so far, channels fail because of no consistency, copying others, wrong niche, bad titles and thumbnails, and a weak opening hook.
Exactly. And these are all things you can fix. None of them require expensive equipment or a big audience. They're just habits and decisions.
That's actually really encouraging because I think a lot of people believe they need a perfect camera or a professional studio to succeed on YouTube.
And you really don't. Some of the fastest growing channels on YouTube were filmed on a phone in a bedroom.
It is always about the content and the strategy, not the gear.
100%. And Mina, I want to talk about something that people argue about all the time.
Oh, I think I know what you were going to say.
Consistency versus quality. Which one is more important?
Okay, so this is a debate I have seen everywhere online. Some people say you should upload as often as possible. Other people say you should take your time and make every video perfect.
And I think both sides have a point. But for someone who is just starting out, I lean more towards consistency.
Really? Even if the quality is not great?
Yes, and here's why. When you're new, nobody knows you exist. You're not losing viewers by uploading something imperfect. You're gaining experience. Every video you make teaches you something.
That is a really good way to think about it. Like, the first 10 videos are basically practice.
Exactly. And the thing is, you cannot improve without doing. You can watch 100 videos about how to edit, but until you actually sit down and edit your own video, you will not get better.
It's like learning to ride a bike. You can read about balance all day, but at some point you just have to get on the bike.
And fall off a few times.
Definitely fall off a few times. But I do think quality matters at some point, right? Like, you cannot just upload anything forever and expect to grow.
Of course, the idea is not to ignore quality completely. The idea is to not let the search for perfection stop you from uploading at all. Because a lot of people spend 3 weeks editing one video trying to make it perfect, and then they burn out and stop.
Oh, I have seen that happen so many times. Someone announces their new YouTube channel, uploads one amazing video, and then disappears.
Because they put so much pressure on themselves that it stopped being enjoyable.
So the sweet spot is somewhere in the middle. Upload regularly, but also try to improve a little bit with each video.
Yes, small improvements over time. If every video is 5% better than the last one, after 20 videos, you're a completely different creator.
I like that. Progress over perfection.
Exactly. Progress over perfection. Okay, so now let's talk about something that sounds a bit technical, but is actually very simple once you understand it. SEO.
Search engine optimization, which basically means how do people find your videos?
Right. And a lot of small creators either ignore SEO completely or they overthink it and make it way too complicated.
So let's make it simple. What does SEO actually mean for a YouTube channel?
So SEO on YouTube basically means using the right words in the right places so that when someone searches for something, your video appears in the results.
Like, if I make a video about how to make pasta, I want it to appear when someone types how to make pasta into the YouTube search bar.
Exactly. And the way you do that is by using those words in your title, in your description, and in your tags.
Okay, so the title we already talked about. What about the description?
The description is really important, and most small creators write almost nothing there. They just put a few words and that's it. But the description is actually a big opportunity.
What should you write in the description?
So the first 2 or 3 lines are the most important because those are visible without clicking. So you want to start with a clear summary of what the video is about using natural language, not just keywords stuffed together, but real sentences.
Like, in this video, I talk about why YouTube channels fail in the first 3 months and what you can do to fix it.
Perfect, natural, clear, and it includes the important words. Then after that, you can add more details, links, maybe timestamps.
And what about tags? I feel like nobody talks about tags anymore.
Tags are less powerful than they used to be, but they still help a little. The most important thing with tags is to use specific phrases, not just single words. So instead of just writing YouTube, write YouTube tips for beginners or how to grow on YouTube.
So more specific is better.
Always. And here's one more SEO tip that a lot of people miss. Closed captions. If you add subtitles to your video, YouTube can read them, and that helps your video appear in more searches.
Oh, I did not know that. So adding subtitles is not just good for accessibility, it also helps with SEO.
Exactly. 2 benefits in one. And YouTube has an automatic caption feature, so it does not even take that much extra work.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. So SEO is basically just making sure YouTube and people can understand what your video is about.
That is a perfect summary. Do not overthink it. Just be clear and specific about your topic everywhere, in the title, the description, the tags, and the captions.
Okay, so now I want to talk about something that I think is really underrated, and that is talking to your audience, like actually responding to comments and building a community.
Oh yes, this is something that big creators often cannot do anymore because they have too many comments. But when you are small, it is actually your biggest advantage.
Because you can actually reply to everyone.
Yes, if someone leaves a comment on your video and you reply to them personally, they remember that. They feel connected to you, and they are much more likely to come back and watch your next video.
I think this is something a lot of creators forget. They think the goal is to go viral and get millions of views, but actually having a small group of people who really love your content is more valuable than a million random viewers.
1,000 true fans. There's actually a famous idea about this. If you have 1,000 people who really love what you do, that is enough to build something real.
And those 1,000 people, they share your videos. They tell their friends, they leave comments that make other people curious.
Exactly. Community builds itself when you put in the early work. And the early work is just being present, responding to comments, asking questions at the end of your videos, maybe doing a community post once in a while.
What is a community post for people who do not know?
So YouTube has a feature where you can post updates, polls, or questions directly to your subscribers without making a full video. It's like a social media post, but on YouTube.
And that keeps people engaged even between videos.
Right. It reminds them that you exist, and it shows the algorithm that your channel is active.
I love that. So engagement is not just about views. It's about comments, likes, shares, community posts, all of it.
All of it together. And here's something important. Ask questions in your videos. At the end or even in the middle, ask your viewers something. What do you think about this? Have you ever tried this? Let us know in the comments.
Because people love to share their opinion.
They love it, and every comment your video gets is a signal to YouTube that people care about your content.
Okay, so we have talked about consistency versus quality, SEO, and community. Now I want to talk about the thing that I think stops more people than anything else, and that is patience.
The long game. Yes, this is so important.
Because I think the #1 reason people quit is not because they're doing everything wrong, it's because they're not seeing results fast enough.
And the expectations are completely unrealistic. People see a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers, and they think, why is my channel not growing like that after 2 months?
But they do not see the years of work behind that channel. They do not see the 200 videos that came before.
Exactly. Every big channel started with 0 subscribers. Every single one. And most of them spent months or even years making videos that almost nobody watched.
That is actually really comforting to know.
It should be, because it means the path exists. It is just longer than people expect.
So, what is a realistic timeline? Like, when should someone expect to see real growth?
Okay, so this depends on the niche and a lot of other factors, but a general idea is this. In the first 3 months, your goal should not be subscribers. Your goal should be learning. Learning how to be on camera, how to edit, how to write a good title.
So, the first 3 months are basically a school.
Yes, and then from month 3 to month 12, if you have been consistent, you should start to see some growth. Maybe not huge, but steady. More views per video, more comments, a slow increase in subscribers.
And after a year?
After a year of consistent uploading, most creators who stuck with it start to see real momentum because by then, you have a library of videos, and that library keeps working for you even when you are not uploading.
Oh, that is an interesting point. Old videos keep getting views.
Yes, YouTube is not like Instagram or Twitter, where a post disappears after a day. A video you made 2 years ago can still bring in new subscribers today if it ranks well in search.
So the content you make today is an investment in the future.
Exactly. Every video is a little seed. You plant it and then you wait. Some seeds grow fast, some grow slow, but if you keep planting, eventually you have a garden.
I really like that metaphor. A garden. You cannot force a plant to grow faster. You just have to water it and be patient.
And not pull it out of the ground after 3 days because it hasn't grown yet.
Which is what most people do with their YouTube channels.
Unfortunately, yes. So the advice is simple. Set realistic goals. Focus on learning and improving. Be consistent. Engage with your audience, and give it at least 1 year before you decide it's not working.
1 year. That sounds like a long time, but when you think about it, 1 year of consistent work on something you enjoy, that's not so bad.
And here's the thing. If you enjoy the process, the time flies. The problem is when people only care about the numbers and not the content itself.
So you have to actually like making videos.
You have to like it at least a little. Otherwise, the patience part becomes impossible.
Okay, Daniel, Let's wrap up with a quick summary of everything we talked about today.
Sure. So we said that YouTube is still worth starting, but you need realistic expectations. The main reasons channels fail early are lack of consistency, copying others, wrong niche, bad titles and thumbnails, and a weak hook at the start of the video.
And then we talked about how consistency matters more than perfection when you're just starting out, how SEO is simply about being clear and specific about your topic, how engaging with your community early is a huge advantage for small channels, and finally, how patience and a long-term mindset are probably the most important things of all.
If you take away one thing from today, let it be this. Do not quit after 3 months. Give yourself at least a year.
And enjoy the process, because if you enjoy it, the year will go by faster than you think.
Thank you so much for listening to the Golden Owl English podcast. If you found this episode useful, share it with someone who is thinking about starting a YouTube channel.
And let us know in the comments, do you have a YouTube channel or are you thinking about starting one? We would love to hear from you.
See you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.
Bye.